even more I enjoy the peacefulness, the tranquility of it, or the me that is almost eager or impatient to express itself in various ways. And I just feel this inner tension that is just tiring me, or is just like a burden, this expansion and calmness or tranquility, and at the same time this impatience or very I don't know, fidgety energy, and almost as if my identity would be kind of swinging between the two.
Yes, because it's not new awareness that is feeling impatient. Awareness never has any agenda with the current circumstance. It's simply open without resistance. So your impatience does not arise on behalf of I awareness. Your impatience is a conditioned bundle of thoughts and feelings that arise in you awareness. So when you feel this impatience, I recommend you understand, but more importantly, feel you are the space of awareness, and this little tense knot of feelings is passing through you. The feelings are impatient. They are wanting to get away from the current circumstance. They are tending towards the future. But those feelings do not arise on behalf of you awareness. They arise on behalf of an illusory self, which when sought is never found. When you look for yourself, you trace your attention back to yourself, you never find an impatient self. You always find the true and only self of infinitely patient awareness.
I think I can see that, and there is something almost scary that apart from a very simple practical financial aspect, like how I...
We've lost you, Dan.
Yes, I'm afraid we've lost him. Shall we just move on to Andrea?
Sorry, Dan. We seem to have lost you there.
I'm back.
Oh, okay.
So there is this scary aspect of this awareness or of this spaciousness that apart from a very practical financial aspect of our life, like how do I sustain my family's life or existence, there is a part of me that is just very happy, relaxed with doing nothing. Just so much that I am almost afraid how much this lack of need to do anything, to achieve anything, to create anything is there.
That's true. There's no desire in awareness to seek experience in order to find happiness. But it is completely appropriate for you to face your current circumstance, which includes, by the sounds of it, looking after your family and earning a living. And there would be no resistance to undertaking that task very fully. So if there was any resistance or fear to doing that, again, that fear would not arise on behalf of awareness. It is appropriate for you to look after your family, if that's the role that you have in your family, to provide for your family financially. No resistance to that. You simply do that happily.
I think the fear is more whether I can allow myself to not to do anything, because there is a very genuine...
It's not a question of allowing yourself not to do anything. It's a question of allowing yourself to be knowingly the presence of awareness and respond to your circumstances from that perspective. Sometimes, in response to a particular circumstance, no activity or no response will be the appropriate response. On another occasion, taking your stand as the presence of awareness, the appropriate response will be some kind of action. In fact, non-action. in that case would be the egoic response, not the response that is informed by love and understanding. So be open that if you know yourself as the presence of awareness, you will respond appropriately, moment by moment, with love and understanding to every situation. In some situations, that will be no response, no action. In other situations, it may mean a great deal of action. So what's important is where your response comes from. Don't superimpose no activity on yourself. So nice to see you again, Dan. Take care.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very much, Daniel. So next is Andreas. You had a question?
Okay, hello.
Hi, Andreas.
Okay, it is difficult for me to formulate the question, but I will do the best. I'm Andreas from Indonesia. The question is about attention. In the first stages, it's like the attention is divested into ourselves. And then it is about like, is there any experience other than knowing, the tantric stages? I have been following your teaching since 8 years ago. And my question is, after now in the recent month, it's like I cannot find the feeling of awareness. I cannot find the sensation or the divested or like the feeling of knowing. Is there any knowing? It
Andreas,
is like
Andreas, awareness is not a feeling or sensation. It is that which is aware of all feelings and all sensations. It cannot be found. You're quite right. You cannot find it as a feeling, nor can I, nor can anybody.
Yes, but the question is, it is okay to some years and it's become like ordinary experience. It's like become just a plain fact. Like it's plain fact.
To begin with, for one who has for many years been accustomed to knowing their self as a bundle of thoughts, images, feelings, activities, and relationships, to recognize I am the presence of awareness is the first time we recognize it. It's an extraordinary revelation. It's suddenly, oh, of course, I am that which is aware of my thoughts, sensations, and perceptions. I'm not a bundle of thoughts, sensations, and perceptions. But after a while, this recognition becomes our new norm. And it no longer feels extraordinary. It just feels as ordinary as it used to feel when we felt, I am a person. I am a bundle of thoughts, feelings, sensations, and perceptions. Yes, it just becomes your new norm.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, by the way,
Nice to meet you, Andreas. Take care.
For your sharing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andreas. So, Yannick, are you around to pose your question to Rupert?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome.
Yannick, yes.
Thank you.
Hi, Yannick.
Hi. My question is a little story. Before that, some month ago, I was really lost in kind of seeking success, I would say. And now I found myself having that peace again, but I'm quite afraid of going like engaging in the world and like again identifying myself with the body again and with the person. And my question is, how can I stay in that awareness while engaging in the outer world?
Right. Yannick, it's quite common for people to set up some conflict between being knowingly the presence of awareness and their engagement in the world. And particularly, for instance, you mentioned success. Success, you might think, the desire for success is an old egoic desire. So I shouldn't want to be successful, or success would be the sign of an old egoic intention, someone established in awareness with them. This is a misunderstanding. It's a very common misunderstanding, Yannick. There is nothing at odds. There is no conflict between being knowingly the presence of awareness and leading a fully active life in the world, including being successful, if that is what is on the cards for you. Whether we desire success or not, or whether we are successful or not, is not the issue. The issue is, on whose behalf does the desire for success arise? If you feel full of love and joy, if you feel that you share your being with everyone, and you are passionate about sharing that understanding out in the world, then there's nothing wrong with that, because your passion, your desire to communicate, is a desire that comes from love. It comes from understanding. It is not an egoic desire. In fact, it would be egoic to repress that desire. That would be a movement of fear. It would come from fear, lack, restriction. So all that is necessary is to check not what your motives are, but where your motives come from. Is it, do I desire success because I want to be rich or loved or respected or famous? That would be an egoic desire. And even if the desire was fulfilled, you would still be miserable. If the desire, on the other hand, comes from joy, from love, from kindness, from compassion, from a feeling that you share your being with everyone and everything, and you want to express that in your own unique way, then don't curtail your desire. Express that desire and feel that the full force of the universe is behind you, helping you to fulfill that desire and be successful in your endeavor. So, Yannick, go out into the world full of passion and love and enthusiasm, desire to be successful, desire to take love and joy and peace and compassion and humor and warmth of heart out into the world and communicate it with your own unique skills, whatever they might be. So it's nice to meet you, Yannick, and I wish you
Thank you. Thank you
very much for your question, Yannick. So, Savitri, are you around for your question?
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Hi, Rupert.
Hi, is it Sonia?
Yes.
Hi, Sonia, and to your friend in the background as well. Hi.
Samuel.
Hi, both of you.
So I will formulate the question very, very short, I hope so. I've been in this path of non-duality since the last 3 years. I'm following a master of the Advaita Vedanta, and I have a beautiful relationship. But I always find that when I'm with my master in the ashram, I have a deepening in my practice and in this recognition of the awareness. And when I go back to my city and I have to follow my duties and my things, I realize that it's harder for me to really interact fully and to be, as I said before to Yanis, being passionate about, because I feel a big dispassion that is growing. And with the lockdown, I was in India with my master, and then I came back through the lockdown. I've been here a couple of months, and I spent good time, really inspired. And after a while, slowly start to increase this passion again. And I found myself with a big amount of this passion, not being even able to go out of the bed. And so I cannot find the happiness.
Okay, well, I think I intuit your question. So, Sonia, it's very normal to begin with in order to find or recognize our true nature, first of all, and then to become established in it, we need to shut out the demands of the world, because the demands of the world, they are so overpowering and overwhelming. It's for the same reason that when you plant a tree in a forest or in a field, you clear the soil from around it and you put a fence around it so it is not competing. You protect it from the environment in order for it to get strong. Now, when the tree is strong, you take the fence around, you let the animals roam around it, the grass grows up to it. The tree is strong enough to withstand the influence of nature. So it's exactly the same here. To begin with, for most of us, both our external circumstances, the world, activities, relationships, and our inner environment, thoughts, feelings, and sensations, are so demanding and so intense for most people that we need to distance ourselves from them. And for this reason, some people put aside a time and a place for meditation every morning and every evening. But also there are places whose purpose is specifically to help us distance ourselves from the demands of outside and inside experience. And such places are monasteries, ashrams, retreat centers, caves, etc. So you find that when you go, where do you live? Where are you now?
In Barcelona.
You're in Barcelona. So when you leave Barcelona, but Barcelona, it's everything is happening, or it's such an intense city. I have to say I love it whenever I come to Barcelona to give talks, but it's an intense city. So you have to go to India, to your ashram, to your master. His presence reminds you of yourself. That's already a help, but no doubt the ashram is in some beautiful foothills of the Himalayas or in Rishikesh. And so circumstances are relatively peaceful compared to downtown Barcelona. So again, this is you have placed yourself in benign, peaceful circumstances. You're not at work, you're not with your family, this is the fence around you. And it's natural, it's good to do this. And then you come back to the world, in Barcelona, and it's okay for a couple of weeks, but sooner or later the old habits creep in. So you go back and forth, back to your teacher. I used to do this for many years, for several years. I used to do this. It's happened. My teacher used to live in California, not in Rishikesh or in India, but whatever. So, but what I found, and I found my experience was similar to yours. Whenever I was there on retreat, it was always, there were no demands of family, work, etc. It was easy just to abide in one street. And then I would go home, family, work, etc. The bloom left over from the time I spent with Francis and on retreat, it would last for a few weeks, but sooner or later I would lose it, so I would go back again. So I'd go back and forth like you're doing. But what I noticed in time was that when I came back home, the peace that I found on retreat would last for longer and longer. It was first of all a few days, then a few weeks, then a few months, and then I would go back. There'd be this back and forth, but in the end, I could find no difference. It was the same. And I tested this for many years. I kept going back for many years. I wanted to make sure that the peace was identical. When I was with Francis and friends and in California, when I was at home working, I wanted to test my peace in the fire of experience. And it's very important to do that, Sonia. So I recommend you keep going back and forth for as long as you need to go back and forth. And in time, you find that this peace remains with you because its source is not in India. its source is in your own being. India, or your master in India, is just, he or she is just like a placeholder for awareness. He or she, is it a he or a she? He is simply a representation in your mind for awareness. And even so, you go there and immediately you feel connection, but it's not really him who is providing the peace. He is just giving you direct access to your being. So in time, keep going back and forth to India for as long as you like, but really the place to go back to is your being. Your master is a placeholder for your being. You don't need to go to India to have access to your being. You can, to begin with, at the beginning and the end of your day, you can close the door, you can sit quietly with your companion, meditating or on your own. But in time, even walking down the streets of Barcelona, nothing can take you away from your peace. You may still choose to go back to your master in India just for the joy of being with a beautiful friend. But you no longer go there for peace because you've discovered the unshakable peace of your own being.
Thank you for giving me hope.
Sweet to meet you both. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Sonia. That's lovely. Irina, did you have a question you wanted to put to Rupert? Irina? Unmute yourself. Then we'll move on to Claudia or Claudia. Do you want to put a question to Rupert?
Sure. I didn't have my hand up, but I'd love to speak to Rupert.
Hi, Claudia.
Hi, Rupert. Okay, just a little bit. I've only been, I don't know how I came upon you, but I just did, and this was like a year ago. I am just so I don't know, just so touched that you're right in front of me. Thank you for coming into my life, coming into my world. You're one of the people that have helped guide me to my awareness, to that place where like you said, it's hard to put into words, but things just become neutral. They don't become any more like a horror and like playing with the mind. It's just, I just settled in, and I didn't have a real question, but I wanted to, I wanted to let you know I've met you there. I meet you when you speak. When you speak, I can settle into that, this moment, this space right here. It's a grace, but you got me there. I have so many other teachers. I have at least 10 people that I go to on a daily basis. Well, not daily, but that I listen to, and I meet them there. And you're one of them. And you brought me more to helped guide me to my awareness of the moment, even though the other ones helped me through like the back door and stuff. But I just wanted to thank you, really. Just thank you so much for just having to been appeared in my life, That's just what I needed right now. With everything else, you're great. And you bring me to, you put the signs out there, and it's up to me to just like settle in and say, okay, just be there, be here. But I just want to thank you that you're here, that you're, just great.
Thank you, Claudia. I'm touched by your words, and I wish you the very best. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Claudia. We're now going to go to somebody that's called Ishwara. So, fabulous name. Ishwara, would you like to place your question?
Rupert, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Thank you.
Ishwara, yes.
Yeah. I've been following your teaching for some time. And at the same time, I'm practicing from a theosophy point of view as an incarnated soul, achieving union with the higher soul, and then the divine spark, stuff like that from a theosophy point of view, having 7 layers of a solar system and, the initiations and the masters and stuff like that. So I just want to quickly understand your view on it. I'm in between the following one of the Rahatic practice from this, and at the same time, I'm really touched by your teachings, and almost regularly I am really there when I'm listening to you. But at the same time, this practice, I've been doing it for quite some time, more than 5 years. So I really need an answer on theosophy, and also in terms of the initiations and achieving oneness with the higher soul and divine spark and stuff like that. I'm not sure if I'm clear on my question.
Yes, Ishwari, you're cutting out a little bit, but I think I got the gist of your question, your interest in and your practice of theosophy.
Yes.
I don't know very much about theosophy. I know a little bit about it, but not a lot. In my very early years, in my late teens and early 20s, I read a lot of Ouspensky's writing, and he was connected to theosophy through Annie Besant, and so I'm familiar with what you're speaking of, but not in any great depth. So, and I understand also that you've been touched by this approach. So, Ishwara, I would recommend that you don't make any conflict. In fact, and I would recommend this for anybody. I know that many people who come to this direct path, at least 50%, if not more, come to this path already on or already practicing another practice or in another tradition. And for many people, there can be a conflict, a kind of crisis arises in their lives between their old path, which they love, as you obviously love the path of theosophy, the ideas, the practice, the people that you work with. And at the same time, there is this recognition of the simplicity and the directness of the direct path. So this conflict that you are expressing, or this question, I don't feel that it's a big conflict in you, but the question that you are expressing is very common. And my answer to you in particular, and to everyone who finds themselves in a similar position, is not to make a conflict, not to make a problem out of your previous practice or tradition or lineage or teacher and what you are hearing here. Just incorporate what you are hearing here, give it your love and attention. You are doing that naturally because you are interested in it. Follow the guidelines, follow the pathways, the meditations that are being suggested, and just see where it takes you. See how you're on a pathway, and this new possibility has opened up in your life. Keep them both going. Be open to both. Don't feel that you have to make a choice between them, and just see how this new approach impacts your old understanding, and just be open to letting the future unfold. Don't be rigid about your old practices. Be fluid, be open to evolving in understanding, growing in understanding. Be open to this new possibility, but don't feel that you have to divorce the old one and commit yourself to the new. Just let both these pathways unfold in your life and see where they take you. That would be my recommendation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, Ishwara. I wish you the very best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Penny, are you around to ask your question from or Rupert? Penny
Yes.
White?
Thank you. My question is, does it matter what we do with our human experience, with our life?
The answer is yes.
Could you expand on it a little bit? If it helps to have background, I lost my daughter in the middle of April following a stem cell transplant, and at the moment, I suppose I was so tied to that as being my purpose, taking care of her, that I'm sort of open-minded and waiting to see what my next job is, if you like.
Yes.
Been taken to the garden because that seems like a sensible thing to do, and to carrying out some projects that she and I had agreed we would do. But yeah, so just that's what I'm just wondering how do we work out what it is the right thing to do?
Yes. Okay. Well, yes, Penny. It does matter what we do in our life, and the death of your daughter is obviously an enormous event in your life, and involves a complete reorientation of your life, and it will take some time. It will most definitely take some time, and maybe quite a long time for your life to find a new purpose, because as a mother, your entire life has been so intimately bound up with the life of your daughter, looking after her, taking care of her. So you're not suddenly going to find a new purpose and go off. It may take some time. It may take a few years. Not just if you had lost your job, then I would suggest maybe a couple of months, or even if you had had a separation from a relationship, that can take a little bit longer. But this is bigger than either of those. This is about as intense as experience can get. So I would recommend that you don't feel you suddenly need to find a new purpose in life. You obviously want to honor the memory of your daughter, and to bring your memory of your daughter, your love of your daughter, into your next activity, so that you feel in your next activity that somehow you are honoring your daughter, and bringing your daughter into the world in a way through your love of her, and through whatever activity you do, that you are somehow bringing her into the world as well through your activity. And I would recommend taking as much time as you need for that process to unfold, and to find out what this new activity may be.
Okay, thank you.
But certainly not to feel that in this path somehow that should be disregarded or not respected, that you should somehow be able to get back on track again, and no, not at all. Well, my heart goes out to you, Penny. I wish you the very best over these next few years. Take care.
Thank you, Penny. The next questioner has logged in themselves as Galaxy Tablet A. Can we see your face, please, Galaxy Tablet? Or even Galaxy Tablet A? Until then, shall we move on to Zoe?
Yeah, I can see Galaxy. I can see you on my gallery view.
Okay.
So if you start speaking, Galaxy Tab.
Galaxy Tab.
Just start speaking and we'll see you, I think.
Is it me?
That's it, yeah. That's
I'm
it.
not very up on computers
That's
very
it.
much.
Good. We can see. Tell us what your name is. Is it Galaxy?
No, it's Julia.
Julia. Good. Okay. Good.
Hello, Rupert.
Hi, Julia.
Hi. I just wanted to ask a question. Let's see how it comes out. I've been on this path for quite a lot of years, and what I'm noticing now is when I leave aside my thoughts, my emotions, I can just feel present. I can just feel a vibration that I'm alive, I'm here. I can feel like an awareness even of that. And yeah. I mean, sometimes there's a lot of thoughts there. There could be a lot of emotions, but I'm finding that I observe that. I notice now that I don't react so often. You know, I just stay quiet and notice the feelings, notice what is happening. And then if I need to respond, and I don't want to make it robotic, I don't, but I'm just wondering if I'm going the right way, or am I in another kind of facade of the mind?
No, it sounds fine what you're doing. Something that's important to understand about this approach is that it's not a way of renunciation.
No.
It's not about getting rid of any element of experience or changing any element of experience. Changes in the content of our experience do happen as a byproduct of this understanding, but not as its goal. So the reason I say this is that you mentioned thoughts and feelings. Yes, there are thoughts and feelings, no problem. For whom are your thoughts and feelings a problem? For awareness? No. Does anything trouble? Does the space of when you walk into the room that you're in now, does the space of the room ever say, oh no, I don't like what Julie's wearing today, we don't want her in the room with that dress on today? No, the space of the room never minds what you're wearing, what you're saying, what you're doing, who you're with. So awareness is like that. It's like an open, empty space, open, indiscriminately, choicelessly to all experience. So awareness is never saying, oh, there should be less thoughts and feelings, or there should only be positive thoughts and feelings, or anything like that. It's only a thought or a feeling that says such things. So as I said, it's true that there are, as you also observe, there are changes to the quantity and quality of our thoughts and feelings as a result of this.
Slow down. They're quite
They
slow.
slow down, and there's less conflict. They slow down, and there's far less conflict. There's much less suffering. So there's much less complaining, much less anxiety, much less fear. But these are all, we don't do anything to try to change our feelings. The feelings naturally change in response to this change in our understanding or feeling understanding of ourself.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't actually work on the thoughts and feelings themselves, and we certainly don't try to get rid of them. Awareness is open, without resistance to all experience.
Mm-hmm.
This is as I said, this is not a way of renunciation or denial. It's a way of understanding and enjoyment. Here, in this way, joy is not. It's not at the end of the path. It is at the beginning of the path. We start with the peace and the joy of our true nature. That is the path. We don't aim for it in the distant future.
It's here in every moment. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Nice to meet you, Julie. Take care.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julie. So Zoe, are you here to ask your question?
Have I unmuted myself successfully?
You have.
Yes, there you are, yes.
Can I just say how I've been really touched by how intimate this Zoom meeting has felt. It's felt I've been very, very moved by this interaction. And I feel slightly embarrassed because I feel like this is a slightly trivial question, but this is something that happens a lot and has been happening for some time. When I'm in the presence of somebody that is speaking from the place from which I feel like you're speaking from, I sometimes go into this trance state. It's like I've been hypnotized. And it's overwhelming. And it's not exactly unconsciousness, because although I'm not connecting to the content of what you're saying, I feel incredibly present with the quality of the sound, and it feels like the sound is, I can't quite explain this, but the sound is very inseparable from my own. I'm not able to distinguish me from the sound. And it's sort of like sleep, but it's not exactly sleep. And that's juxtaposed against an experience of great fear when I try to go to sleep. There's a great resistance in me to going to sleep. And I often don't sleep very much. And I don't know, I don't quite know what the question is, but I wondered if you had anything helpful to say about those two contradictions. They feel like contradictions.
Well, the first thing you said, you express in your own unique way your love of truth, your love of this understanding, the fact that it is you have touched this understanding in yourself. So you express that on the one hand, and then on the other hand, you express this fear that you feel, this difficulty sleeping, this resistance you feel when you sleep. So put these two together, Zoe. When you fall asleep, when you're lying in bed at night, feel first of all that you are trace your way back to yourself. Understand, but more importantly, feel I am the open, empty space of awareness. Everything is welcome within me, including my resistance. Because probably up until now, your resistance has been the one thing that you have wanted to get rid of so that you can go to sleep.
Yeah.
So the one thing you may not yet have done is totally welcome your resistance. It's a little bit counterintuitive, because you think, I have to get rid of my resistance or my fear, then I'll be able to go to sleep. No, it's the opposite, Zoe. You have to totally welcome your resistance so that it's no longer problematic, because it is not problematic for you, awareness. Awareness doesn't have problems. It's like the open, empty space of a room. Even just like fighting would not disturb the space of your room, so resistance does not disturb the presence of awareness. So first of all, feel I am this open, empty, allowing space of awareness. And then as that awareness, turn towards your resistance and say to it, you can say to it out loud in a kind of innocent, childish way. Say to it, for years now, I've been trying to get rid of you. I've tried medication. I've tried meditation. I've tried books on tapes. I've tried Audible. I've tried everything. Headspace meditations. I'm sure you've tried everything. Whiskey, whatever. I'm sure you have your own repertoire of things that you've tried. None of them have worked. Try the one thing that you've never tried. Turning towards the resistance and saying, for years now, I have been trying to medicate you away or meditate you away, but tried to get rid of you in one way, but one thing I've never done is welcomed you in, invited you close. So now I'm going to do the opposite. Just come in. You're welcome. You stay. There's plenty of space for you. You stay for as long as you like. And the test, Zoe, this is very important, because you might be inclined to do this welcoming of the resistance with the subtle agenda of finally getting rid of it. And that's faking it. That's pretending to welcome it whilst trying to get rid of it. So you have to be able to answer yes to the question, can I live with you forever? Can I live? You have to be able to say to the resistance, you're welcome in me forever. And then you know you're not doing this in order to get rid of it. And you'll find it's so much easier than you imagine it might be, because you are already, you don't have to make an effort to make yourself allowing or welcoming. You, the space of awareness, are already allowing and welcoming. Well, this is what in the tantric traditions, it's what they call devouring your emotions.
Okay.
It's the approach that was made well known to many of us through the Grimm brothers' fairy story of the Kiss the Toad. You know that story? Yes. You kiss the toad. The princess had to kiss, not just welcome, but to embrace, to kiss that which was most distasteful to her. And then he turns into a handsome prince. So your fear and resistance is the one element of your life that you would like to be rid of now. You have to kiss it. Start by welcoming it, then embrace it, then kiss it. Sooner or later, he'll turn into a handsome prince.
Thank you. Thank you.
And just to make a comment about your very first comment about the intimacy of these meetings, thank you for saying that, because it's entirely my experience too. To begin with, when I first started doing these online meetings, actually well before lockdown, although I'm doing far more often, I was very reluctant, I was rather attached to, as I said, to I think it was Sonia, that I used to go regularly to my teacher, and there was a community of friends, and I was very attached to in-person meetings. And of course, I still love meeting people in person. So I was very skeptical about the possibility of the extent to which this understanding could be communicated and shared in this virtual platform. And I am repeatedly surprised, exactly as you say, by the depth and the quality and intimacy that these meetings have. So thank you for mentioning that. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rupert,
so
for
we
being with us.
Can we have the final question from Annabelle, please? I promised that Annabelle would be
okay.
Would have one question.
Sorry to Ahuja, who was about to ask her question. But okay, Annabelle.
Annabelle, you need to unmute yourself.
To unmute myself. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can hear you and see you. Yes.
Okay, Rupert. I hope perhaps I misunderstood what you said, but somebody said to you, "Does it matter what I do?" And very quickly you came back and said, "Yes, it does." And then I began to. Then I didn't understand that, because from the position of who you really truly are, with no agenda, does it truly matter what you do? Because you're unlikely from a place of kindness and love and acceptance to be unkind, or maybe you are inadvertently because of old conditioning. But apart from that, does it really matter? Because if you have no agenda, why does it matter?
Yes, it's true. When Penny first asked her question, in fact, I I was rather hasty in my response. I said yes, and then she told us about her daughter, so I qualified my response. But you're right, Annabelle. From an absolute point of view, awareness is not implicated by experience. So from that point of view, it doesn't really matter to awareness what takes place in experience. It just like it doesn't matter to a screen what the outcome of a movie is. The screen doesn't mind whether the bad guys are caught or whether the good guys die or not. It's all the same to the screen. So yes, you're right from an absolute point of view. But Annabelle, we also we lead embodied lives. We're not ascetics living in caves, denying the experience of the body, denying relationships, denying activities. We have an embodied aspect of our lives. And in this approach, this aspect of our lives is not denied or excluded. So whilst it doesn't matter from an absolute point of view, at a relative point of view, that is the point of view of our embodied lives in the world, it does matter what we do. What should we do as an apparently embodied person? We should lead a life that is consistent with this understanding. Namely, we should lead a life that is consistent with the understanding that the being of each of us is the same being. We all share our being. And I feel that it is important to lead a life that expresses this and communicates it in some way or another.
And if old conditioning comes up and needs to express itself, that's okay too.
From an absolute point of view, it is okay. But, you know, Derek Chauvin, the policeman who killed George Floyd, was just expressing his old conditioning.
Yes.
Is that okay? No, it's not.
Not from the standpoint.
From the point of view of awareness, of course, it's all okay. But can you honestly stand by and say, it's fine, don't take any action, it's all the same to awareness? I can't. I feel compelled by my understanding, but also my feeling that we all share our being. That if I see someone behaving, or if I notice any such behavior in myself, that is not consistent with the understanding that we share our being. In other words, that is not consistent with love. I feel compelled to respond on behalf of love. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to go and get involved in the situation, but I feel compelled out of love to share my understanding such as it is. Does it matter ultimately? No. Does it matter relatively? Yes. Mm-hmm. And I would be surprised, Annabelle, if you did not feel the same way. Do you have grandchildren, for instance? Do you mind me asking a personal question?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Does it not matter to you very deeply whether your grandchildren are treated kindly and with love? I would suggest it does matter to you.
It does matter to me relatively. Yes, it matters to me.
Let's not be too philosophical.
But it's like...
When your grandchildren are suffering, does it touch your heart?
It touches my heart.
You know, in that case, it matters.
I don't know the whole story.
Well, but it matters to you. That's all. You cannot stand by and say, my grandchildren are suffering, it's all the same to awareness, I don't care. You do care. It does matter to you.
I do
care. It does matter to you how they are treated by their parents, by their community, by their... You do think it matters. You might know, and I'm not doubting that you're... I know you're being sincere. Of course, ultimately, it doesn't matter. But I don't think you can stand by and say, it doesn't matter if my grandchildren are
No.
abused.
No,
It does
no.
matter to you. So it's important that we marry this understanding to our everyday life, and that it's not just some intellectual understanding.
No, it matters to me, Rupert, but I suppose that if I can do something about it, I will immediately do something about it. If I can't, I seem to take my stance in, I don't know how the outcome is going to be, because I only know my personal feelings.
Yes.
Annabelle's personal feelings, but that is not...
Annabelle, to feel compassion for another human being is not a personal feeling. It is not a feeling that arises on behalf of being a separate person. On the contrary, it is a feeling that compassion is always an impersonal feeling that arises on behalf of love and intelligence. So you're right, you don't know how your grandchildren are going to turn out, what the situation with George Floyd and Derek, of course, we don't know. And it could be, obviously, you are involved in a situation with your grandchildren. You have a part to play in their upbringing. You're not going to have any direct impact on the destiny of Derek Chauvin, for instance. So you can't do anything about that. But nevertheless, you do. Your feeling of compassion towards your grandchildren, George Floyd, Derek Chauvin, or anyone else, is not a personal feeling. It is a feeling that comes from love and understanding. And I feel as human beings, relative human beings, as you would say, it is our sacred duty to express, in whatever way feels right to each of us, our love and understanding, such as it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I think we should probably thank you, Annabelle. There's more, obviously, to discuss about this.
Yes.
So
Yes.
on occasion,
I would like to understand better.
I hold these.
Thank you very much.
Not at all. Nice to meet you, Annabelle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Rupert, for being with us. So great of you.
Thank you, Ahuja.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So, thank you, Rupert.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Good to see you, both of you. Good to see you. Hi.
Love you, Rupert. So they all. You can clap if you want to. We can unmute you all if you wanted to clap. That's okay too. So thank you. Just coming in, Rupert, through the chat lines.
Good to be with you all. Thank you, and thank you, Ram and Sonali.
Thank you very much.
So,
thanks, Rupert.
Just as a bye-bye, thank you very much, Rupert. Really appreciate your time, and it's always lovely to see you. And I'm gonna, if you, I know that we're going to invite you for the festival next year, July next year. I'll get you the dates. You have to be there. You have to be there, Rupert. Otherwise, I'll get all of these people to email you directly. And that'll serve you right. So,
as I said, Ram, you're very hard to say no to. But, thank you, Ram and Sonali, and thank you, all of you. It's sweet to be with you all from around the world. Take good care.